Hi, Trish Hoffman here. Some interesting statistics to kind of talk about the state of the world. And if you want to understand what the next 10 years are going to be like, next 20 years, I would argue, um, this is an important benchmark to consider. So I talk about the Bible a lot more than I used to. I've always had a relationship with the Bible. It's always been sort of, I think I look at it as a hinge pin for Western civilization. Of it spawned lots of very good religions that have been healthy for people to consider and have a constructive life. I think the Bible gives a great foundation to human existence, as opposed to other religions of the world. The Bible has been very successful, and religion, the means of a higher quality of life, and what that does to the human race. I think all religions, if they can benefit that in some way, are great. For a long time, because of my relationship, my upbringing, being very close to churches and playing Jesus and Pontius Pilate and Nicodemus and and the Passion plays at church. I did all that. I went to Sunday school, so I always just figured everybody in the world had that experience, and you realize that that's really been, during my lifetime, a declining attribute, where it was more rare than normal, as opposed to maybe in the 50s or the 40s, or the turn of the century, 1890s, 1870s. We've seen a declining trend as secular ideas merged with society. And we've seen challenges to all the principles of biblical understanding. And that's been a trend that a lot of people have thought the trajectory would be the end of Christianity, the end of Bible sales. I've made comments when I travel and you go to different hotels. I always check to see if they still put at least the New Testament Bible in the drawer in the hotel room. And even in places around the world, it's amazing to see how much continuity there is there, and how standard that has become a practice over the years. And it's reassuring in a lot of ways, because it lets you know that the people you're dealing with at least have some common values. If you can read the Bible and say, hey, I kind of agree with these ideas, not even to put it in a religious realm, but the expression of ideas and values of good and evil, right and wrong living. If you can get your mind wrapped around that, you can at least have a cordial conversation with other people. But the belief has been that it's going out of style, it's falling away, it's a declining condition. And so, I've had a relationship with the Bible, but as I've looked at and become involved in Tea Party-like matters and Reform Party-like matters, and the MAGA realignment of the Republican Party, one thing comes very obvious. We built our entire legal system around biblical understanding, biblical law, biblical premises. It's the foundation of Western civilization. So if you're going to defend Western civilization and capitalism and all the great things that emerge from it, you have to have a good understanding of the Bible. And I think that as a byproduct, a lot of people have come to realize that what the social aspects of questioning those attributes did for them has not made them happy. I think divorce rates are too high. People's belief in property and value and maintenance of that, it all goes back to our original foundation. If you look at the constructs of our law and order society, and you understand the military aggressions of secular society against a biblical foundation, once you realize that was a detrimental consideration meant to destroy us, people are now swinging back the other way, and Bible sales are way up. And so much so, it's worth noting, So Bible sales there's 19 million Bibles that were sold in 2025, which is the highest number. That's 2025. That's last year. From this is 2026. That's the highest number in 21 years. So we saw a major progressive push. The Obama years, expansion of Muslim influence, which definitely was attached to the Barack Obama presidency and the executive branch, and a loosening of tolerances for other belief systems, even if it's the Church of Satan. There were more advocates out there for it. And when they shoved this stuff down everybody's throats, and they went through the transgender agenda and the pride parades in June and putting rainbows over the White House, people didn't like that. They voted for Trump. They voted for more than that. They voted for a continuity, and they voted for a political system that would turn toward the Bible. And the more that Trump embraced the Bible, the stronger he became, even with people who might be independents and disagree with him, because people understand there's a foundation there that they need for the preservation of their society, and the Bible's very much it. So 19 million Bibles were sold in 2025, highest 21 years. That's a 12% increase from 2024 and twice what it was in 2019. So just for some perspective there, that's a lot of new people coming in to biblical understanding, reaching for the Bible as a growth. I think shows like The Chosen have made biblical understanding much more conducive. People are yearning for that wholesomeness, and whatever it takes to get there, they're willing to do. In September of 2025, it saw a 36% spike in a single month, which coincided with the death of Charlie Kirk. So after that assassination, there was a 36% spike in people going to the Turning Point, going to the teachings of Charlie Kirk and the kind of youth movement that he was leading, which is why he was a target for assassination. And what it did is it spiked a tremendous interest in the biblical understanding and how it aligns to the foundations of society and the laws that we create under that assumption, under that umbrella. From just 2024 to 2025, there was a 27.7% growth in the copies sold. In the United Kingdom, there's been a 106% increase since 2019, just in the United Kingdom. So that tells you where the fears are that that particular country is falling towards Islam. Where the churches are getting burnt down, the politicians that are getting elected are these Muslim activists. And the fear that what's going on in Mamdani in New York is the same kind of thing. What we see in the trenches, what you see at the bookstores. I don't know that there's probably somebody out there, but there's probably nobody out there that goes to bookstores more than I do. Over the years, that is my number one destination. It's my number one favorite thing to do. It's buy books, read books. But I get a lot online, of course, but I love to go to physical bookstores and buy piles of books and carry them around, read them, and move through them really quick. And one thing I've noticed over the years is the religious section to the bookstores has grown enormously in all bookstores, because that's where your growth sectors are, obviously by the stats I just cited. And they're the premier. Usually you find that those sections of the bookstores are much closer to the register, the front of the business, than it used to be. Much more of a dominant presence. So if it used to be like, oh, I'm buying a Bible, I'm looking at Bibles, I don't want people to see that, because I don't want some Islamic radical to come throw an egg at my head, or some transgender activist to chase me down to my car and hurt me or burn my car up, which happens. People had a stigma if they were going to go to the bookstore and buy a Bible. It was off in the corner somewhere, and it gave them some privacy from other people observing that they were doing it, as opposed to the New Age section, which is often very close to like where the information desk is. So if you're in the New Age section and you're buying tarot cards or you're buying books on astrology, and it was cool to be seen in those places. Paranormal investigations are often right there next to the New Age section. Bibles were way over there, and now they're right up at by the counter, close to where you buy the bookmarks. Close to, and I go to lots of bookstores, so it's not just one. I've noticed a trend, a major trend in that direction. So bookstores are embracing non-secular approaches to their book sales, and the demand for Bibles is one of the largest market sectors, and it's been out there forever. Everybody has some understanding what the Bible is, I think, and now people want a much more intimate relationship with it. So new generations are discovering the old yearning for that kind of structure, and it's good because that's how you build your society. All of our laws, all of our statutes, I have actually right here. There's absolutely zero chance of this book here. This is the 2024 Ohio Criminal Law Handbook, and you can see I have it well marked up. I use it extensively for lots of reasons, a lot of undisclosed reasons. But I have this. This is what you find in most lawyers have copies of these. They get new ones every year because you got to keep up with all the Ohio statutes. And there's Ohio statutes for everything. This is just for criminal law. There's statutes for everything that has some sort of law and order need behind it. None of it means anything, anything at all, unless you have a Bible to get common understanding in your society. And that doesn't mean that you have to push people out because they have come from different places in the world that may not have a relationship with the Bible. But if you have a common understanding of its value, which the Bible brings, you're seeing more people saying, all these laws that we have to make a functional society work, they don't work unless people have an agreed biblical understanding. And so, I took the Bible for granted because I had a relationship with it that was from my youth. And not everybody's so fortunate to have that kind of upbringing, that kind of approach. But you learn, I think I learned early on that not everybody thinks the way I do about it. So to be respectful, I didn't go around and beat people over the head with it. I just kind of keep it to myself and let people do what they do. But over time, I've learned that approach is, as accommodating as it might be, isn't a path to success. And if you're going to have a society that's going to function correctly, you have to have some foundation law, and the Bible's it. Bible gives it to people, and people are yearning for it. They want to structure society. They don't want crazy radicals out in the streets burning their houses down and burning down their, throwing eggs at them when they go to Trump rallies. And they want order. They want structure. And this whole defund the police movement is going the other way. When you get involved in the legal profession in any state, and I have more of a relationship than most people do with it. It's kind of a daily concern of mine. And when you go through all these statutes, and you mark up relevant cases that you need to deal with, when you read them, the substructure to everything has to have a common understanding in society. And the Bible, from my point of view, is the only way to get there. The only way. And I've studied comparative religion. I've had not a personal relationship, but an understanding relationship to I think every religion that's on earth that we know of, and I can say that the Bible is the only one that presents a foundation that you can build a society on. And in the next step, of course, are these kinds of books that give you order and give you things that you can take to a judge, and the judge can say, are you within the law or not within the law? And are we going to function as a society around those concepts? And the foundation for it all is the Bible, and people are getting it. People are going out and buying it in huge amounts. Again, 19 million Bibles were sold in 2025, and the New York Times bestseller list would love to publish that number. But it goes against the secular view of the world, which is to remove that whole undercurrent of stability in society so they could destabilize civilization and overthrow it into a changed state of progressive intent. And that hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. And now it's all headed in a different direction. And I think that's great. And I think these Bible statistics are magnificent. I love seeing that. And I now more than ever, when I talk to people and they know that I have a very good understanding and relationship with the Bible, they feel like they can talk about it more. They talk to me about it more than I've ever heard in my adult life. And that is a significant improvement that I think will cascade into greatness for the next 20 or 30 years in a very constructive and healthy way that human civilization will benefit from tremendously. So that's positive. A lot of positive things to talk about. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. So have a good day. Go out and buy a Bible. It's good. It's a good, healthy thing to do, and give it to somebody who's looking for some answers in life and a foundation to build existence around. And have a good day.